We are four pals from Toronto, Canada. All of us with quite a few miles traveled already down life's highway. We've got plenty of life experience, and while we may not be able to describe ourselves as voices of wisdom, we can promise you an entertaining and thought provoking discussion. So, sojourn with us for a while. And now it's my pleasure to pass it along to my very good friend, Al Brown.
The Debate Forum. Welcome.
Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Al Brown. You have just heard from Andrew Wood, my friend. With me today is Mario Karakides and Sarab Sandhu. Well, in a couple short days, we're going to have a new year, 2021. And a lot of us will be saying good riddance to 2020 for all that happened in it. And we're looking forward to the new year. Well, today we're going to try and predict what we expect in the new year. Everybody's got a few predictions. The future will be what it will be, for better or worse. We must learn to live with it. I am going to take more of a pessimistic view along with Andrew. And Sarab and Mario will try and take a more positive view on things because there are trends going on that could go either way. For example, the pandemic continues to rage. Hopefully, by the middle of this year, we'll have some sort of control on that. Good question. What is your prediction with regards to the pandemic, Mario?
It's going to be over. How is that for a nice little start? There you go. We're going to be out of it by the end of 2021, guys, and I'm looking forward to a great new start. And the truth is, I feel really, really optimistic about where we're going to be heading. Yes, everything is doom and gloom now. Everybody is feeling it because we're right in the middle of it. But I see people coming together, changing their ways of life and starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel by the time this next year is out. So I think 2021 is going to be that precipice that will take us to a new way of looking not only at our lives, but also on how we interact with one another.
Oh gosh, Mario, I hate to disagree with you, but I'm obliged to. I can't. You know what? That's not going to happen. I mean, simply put, this thing is going to linger on, and it's going to linger on, and the negative consequences are not going to be dispersed so quickly nor so quietly. First of all, it's going to take us all year, perhaps many of us, to be vaccinated, and so many people are going to refuse the vaccine that herd immunity is simply not going to happen as easily as you think it is. And then all the consequences that remain to be played out, the economic consequences, and certainly the educational ones, which I, as a teacher, am deeply involved with. You know what? There is no reason for optimism about 2021 in particular. I don't think so.
Sarab, do you have anything positive to say?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Mario just said 2021. See, when you say 2020 and 1, you can put WON also. It assumes that 2020 has 1, but actually it's 2021, which is going to be a good year because everything will be left behind. As Mario says, we're going to get, I disagree with you. We are going to get rid of this pandemic totally. Now, coming back to India, now there are a lot of cases, but the recovery rate is 93.6%. So this herd immunity is slowly coming there. And with this new variant, they say the present vaccine is still working on those things. So it will come down and it will become, in fact, TB has 1.8 million deaths a year. And we have not crossed 1.8 million for coronavirus yet. It's 1.2 million, right? So every year 1.8 million people die of TB. Nobody talks about that. So having said that, this will become a normal, whatever it was, like a smallpox, and it'll fade down and become a normal cold. So everything will be fine.
Actually,
gosh.
Sarab, I think we have got that many deaths, but that's another story. Let's move on to something that's been mentioned here, which is the economy, which drives everything. Now, we know that governments have been shoveling money out the door to try and support the economies. That has got to have an effect in the coming year. I'll give you an example. Last summer, people were predicting that gold would be at $2,500 an ounce by the middle of 2021. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb, way out on a limb. $10,000.
Oh, gosh.
Why not? I mean, if our economy crashes and burns because the pandemic isn't resolved, well, everybody's
That's good news if you're sitting on gold, if you've got the gold in your deposit box in the bank.
That's
Well, I got to
true.
tell you though, guys, and quite honestly, when you look at gold, the price that it is, you know, what Lal is saying could happen. And it's good news for a few people, but I've got some. Now, I know we're arguing the positive side over here from me and Sarab, but let me tell you this. An asteroid has been found that has gold on it. Tons and tons and tons of gold. And my friends, the moment we actually get spaceships over there to start mining those asteroids and bringing back the gold, you know what's going to happen to your gold $10,000 prediction? It's going to be 10 cents, Al Brown. So there you go. Inflation is gone, protections are gone, gold is going to be everywhere. You're going to have gold chains wherever you want. It's going to be okay. Your coins are going to be gold. Your houses are going to be gold. You're going to be living like Donald Trump's house. There you go, folks.
Well, this debate just devolved into pure fantasy. We're going to have to roll back those last 30 seconds here and try to reestablish ourselves in reality. And the reality is that miserable times are still ahead of us. And any attempt to deny that or downplay it is just simply not recognizing the truth of the matter.
Well, in that regard, Andrew, I would like to say that all this money coming around is going to cause inflation, quite a lot of it. And one of the concerns that people are worried about is inflation is going to go up above 2%. But I think that a lot of people are saying that the US dollar is overvalued and Canadian dollar goes along with it. I believe that the US wouldn't mind if its dollar plummeted in value, which could cause a lot of turmoil in the world, but it would be stiffing its trade partners like China and Europe when the American goods were more competitive than theirs. So there's a lot of economic turmoil going out there. But Sarab, what do you think about that?
You see, today I was talking to my batchmates, all ship's captain, ex-ship's captain, and they were saying the biggest, we were having the same sort of discussion about the shipping. Now they had the problem that then the charter parties, they write that no ship's crew change is allowed. It's because nobody wants to take the responsibility. Canada is the only leading country where they allow crew changes, but any other place, they don't even allow that. So with that sort of a thing happening, it's becoming difficult for the seafarers. And of course, the movement of cargo is taking place, but the charter party rates are going up and down in a very big way. So this is going to recover all right, but it's going to take a long time for the transportation to settle down, you know.
Well, maybe that's opportunities for local businesses.
Well,
You
Al,
never know about that.
yeah, in order to support what you're saying and to see the positive side of this, and in all seriousness, if the US dollar and the Canadian dollar for that matter go down, it will encourage the ability for us to have more local production happening, bringing back manufacturing, bringing back the ability to be self-sustaining. Because if your dollar goes down, your buying ability outside of your country goes lower, right? You don't have the ability at that point to go and buy from the European market if the euro is higher. So it will encourage more of a self-sustained environment. The question that I have for you guys is this, though. In a globalized market, is that something that is feasible? I would love to see it happen, but is it feasible in a globalized market environment?
Very good question, but let's get a little personal on this again.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, when are you going to go on vacation again outside of this country?
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. If the dollar goes down, that cuts us out as well, because it becomes much more expensive, right? So, and as people look at their budgets, and especially the way the pandemic has affected us, we're all right now very conscious about what we have in our pockets and how much we're going to be spending. Every penny counts, because we don't know if this rainy day is going to end tomorrow, or is it going to end at the end of the year. Now, I said at the very beginning that I believe it's going to end at the end of this particular 2021. So yeah, I'm hoping that I will be able to go.
Yeah. You know what?
Go higher.
I'm not convinced, Mario. I'm not convinced that any of us are going to be going on holiday in 2021. Certainly not any extended foreign holidays. I don't see that. I mean, really, realistically, some people, obviously, but for the vast majority of us, we are going to be stuck, just like we're stuck right now. And there's so many things that we could be talking about in terms of just the terrible devastation that I wish we would address, the deaths in the long-term care homes that is devastating that particular industry, and it's totally out of control. And when is that going to stop? The distribution problems for the vaccines, all the local businesses that have gone out of business, and they are not coming back anytime soon. I don't want to see all this sunshine and light in this particular discussion, because I think the more realistic position is to acknowledge that the devastation is deep and it's lasting.
Yes, it is deep and it's lasting, and I agree with you with that. But it is also a catalyst for reform, right? There were problems there that we knew about as a society with old age homes, and yet we ignored it, right? And we didn't do anything about it. We allowed it to happen. We allowed privatization to take over with no government oversight. Because why? Because political decisions changed the environment where there was government oversight, and that could keep them in check. But when we did that, it took a downturn, and now we're paying for the consequences. But here's the thing. If we start looking at what happened during 2020, the devastation, it is time to reform, and it's time to reform for the better, because we cannot tolerate anymore to have the deaths that we have experienced. We cannot tolerate the economic debacle that is going on. There has to be.
Bravo. I agree with you, Mr. Karakidis. And here's my point, is that this devastation happened back in the spring of 2020, number one. We learned all these lessons. The people were dying, and it was the senior homes, and they were dying. And we have had how many months? You've had, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. And here we are at the very tail end of December, last couple of days of 2020, and the problem has not been fixed in the way you're suggesting that it could have been.
And
it's
it
a
hasn't.
long-term, Mario, it's a long-term fix, but it also points out to something else here, and that is maybe politics as usual. What can we look at politics in the coming year? Well, last fall in Canada, the government of the day, Trudeau, was baiting the opposition parties, challenging them to have an election. And of course, nobody wanted an election in the middle of a pandemic. No. But it's likely we're going to see one in the coming year, probably in the fall. Just as the pandemic is receding, as you say, Mario, we could have another old-fashioned Canadian election with politicians bashing each other up, just having a great old
gosh. Well,
And
there you go. There's a nightmare already, Al. Aaron O'Toole. Are we really going to have to deal with that guy? There's a nightmare right there.
Well, unfortunately, politics is a good thing, but the issues get lost in it. So we may not have any real substantial progress in terms of long-term care or any of the other issues that have developed over the last little while. Maybe if we can get something done within the next few months before people's attention turns away, but that's another question. So politics, what is your prediction for politics?
All right,
Guys?
so nothing. The main thing I want to say is that with time, this whole thing is going to become okay. It is going to be fine because this is the time for consolidation. All the small businesses are going to die away, and the bigger ones get bigger because there'll be more control. There'll be more online shopping. All the mom and pop shops are going to go.
That's good. That's not good.
But that's
So-
what's
So
going to happen.
I think Sarah just migrated over to the negative side.
I
No, no,
don't
but-
know.
But that's the reality. That's the reality. That's what's happening.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for the support, Sarab. I'm
I
not
guess
supposed.
Sarab's got shares in Amazon. He wants to see it
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
By the
Okay,
way,
Mario. I think you've been abandoned on the optimist side.
So it's a 3 against
No, no.
1, guys. Okay, it's
No,
time.
it's-
Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I have this. I just subscribed to a system where I can sell you gold and silver also. You can buy from my website now and you'll be delivered to your home. So it'll be much cheaper
Okay.
than what you're buying now in the banks. It'll be,
Okay.
I provide that link and you buy it from there. I guarantee
Okay.
that.
Time for
That's what I
commercials.
Time for a
Okay.
commercial, yeah.
Wow.
Can you tell? Can you tell? But here is the thing to take it back to Al's question, and that is that if politicians do dare to call an election, whether it's the left or the right or the center or the extreme left or whoever is idiotic enough during a recovery period to call an election, we should make them pay for it. And I don't mean literally pay for it, although that would be a good idea, penalize them, but also politically pay for it. This is not the time for posturing. And I don't want to see the right saying, show me the money. Okay, like we had in April or May, whenever that was, the guy screaming at Trudeau, show me the money, or the right trying to threaten, or the left, sorry, trying to threaten an election, as Al Brown said. It is time to put the people first. And only the people first. And unless elected politicians realize the fact that they are servants to us, we are paying them to do something. Okay?
Yeah.
It's time to put us in front. And
There
not
you
sit
go.
there
There you
and start
go.
yapping about who's going to survive in their office and they're taking money out of my pocket because they want to have a nice little political career.
Yeah.
Folks,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't work. That's
Yeah.
the way to change. That's the way to positivity. And it's time we people start speaking up.
There you
Start
go.
Compartmentalizing ourselves.
There you go. And you know what? We found a point of agreement there, Mario, and that's a good way to end this podcast. Now, some of us on this podcast are card-carrying NDP members, and it sounds to me like, Mario, that you just basically encapsulated the NDP party's platform. So maybe, if there is indeed an election next year, it'll be Prime Minister Jagmeet Singh. And wouldn't that be a step forward for the country?
It would. Gentlemen, let's sum up with one final prediction from each of us for the coming year. Try and keep it brief. Sarab, let's start with you.
Well, all I can say is next year is going to be good. The changes are taking place. Everything is going to be back to a normal, which will be a new normal. Everything is going to come back in shape. It's going to take time. So be careful. Just see what's happening around you and take advantage of the system, what's happening. Thank you.
Andrew, what is your prediction?
Okay, well, 2020 has been pretty miserable in many different ways, as I believe we all know. More of the misery awaits us in 2021. And that's my prediction.
Ooh, that's nice and negative. Mario, give us some good news.
Well, I don't care who wins in the political world and what party is there, because I believe that 2021 will be something that will be inspired by the people, and it will be the people's year.
Mm.
So we're going to
That's
drive this because we finally are waking up to the fact that it is now up to us to enforce our demands on our governments to think of us first.
Mm.
Sounds good. Well, my prediction for the future is that we will have a summer where there's no snow for a change.
Oh.
This is up
Okay.
in Canada, where there's snow all times of the year, where the polar bears march down
Oh,
through the city
gosh.
of Toronto and eat tourists.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wonderful year, I think, although I'm not putting all my money in gold, nor am I going to put it in Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is probably going to go up to $100,000 a Bitcoin, and then it's going to crash and burn. It's going to be worth nothing because it's just another tulip bubble.
Yeah,
And
that's true too.
If I could sell Bitcoin short in the summer of this year, I would try. Ladies and gentlemen, thank
Buy
you for
snow.
watching.
Okay, well, now wait a minute. Before we sign off, I think we have an interesting topic coming up next week, do we not?
Yes, we do.
We discussed this earlier.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be totally different. And we're going to be talking about the whole question of you drive your car or the computer inside your dashboard drives your car. They're telling us, of course, that just a few years from now, we're going to have self-driving cars. So that's the topic we're going to be considering next week. And I look forward to that.
Thank you very much, folks, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. The Debate Forum. Welcome.